Welcome to Engaging Recapped. The film begins with Mike Banning, Gerard Butler, going through a tactical preparation practice, in which he goes through a structure while being taken shots at. He takes out every one of the targets in his way until he makes it outside the facility, and was finally shot at by his colleague Wade Jennings, Danny Huston. One of his other teammates, Bruno, Rachi Boy Williams, gets pissed at Mike for thumping him down the steps. However, Mike shields himself by advising him that if he didn't play it like it's real, then he will kick the bucket when it is real. Mike then, at that point, strolls with Jennings, who discusses his paramilitary organization, Salient Global, while also raising Mike's possible potential promotion to Secret Service Director, which prompts Jennings to mention that Mike could put in a good word for a contract for his team to train in that field. Mike vows to give his very best. Recently, Mike has been experiencing headaches and insomnia. He has gone to see a specialist about it, yet has been keeping it from the now president Alan Trumbull, Morgan Freeman, and his wife Lee, Piper Perabo. One doctor even alludes to him as a disaster waiting to happen. Mike and Lee also need to bring up their little daughter Lynn, which makes him more reluctant to take on the director position. Mike goes to the White House for a press conference alongside Trumbull and current SSD David Gentry, Lance Reddick. Trumbull clarifies that he intends to make war only a final resort, and he needs to implement a better foreign policy. Mike later joins Trumbull on a fishing trip with different agents. Trumbull tells Mike personally that he is choosing him for the director position, which Mike thankfully acknowledges. Minutes after, the men spot what resembles a multitude of bats flying through the air. They soon realize that they are drones, which start to fire upon the agents. Men are exploded where they stand, so Mike jumps to safeguard Trumbull. The two jump out of the boat and into the water to remain hidden. Mike figures out how to get Trumbull someplace safe before the two of them pass out. The two men are taken to the hospital to revive them, with Trumbull left in a state of unconsciousness. As a result of this, Vice President Martin Kirby, Tim Blake Nelson, is confirmed as acting president. Lee hurries to the hospital with Lynn to see Mike. Mike is met by FBI agent Helen Thompson, Jada Pinkett Smith, who begins to question him about his possible association with the assault on President Trumbull. Proof found in the van that enacted the robots suggests that Mike might have orchestrated the attack, since his hair and skin cells, plus residue similar to that in Mike's carport, was found. Mike realized that he was set up. However, Thompson seems to think that he really was responsible. Shortly after, Mike is arrested. The escort group is then attacked and killed, and they take Mike with them. He winds up battling them and making them collide with a tree in the woods. Mike remembers one of the bad guys as Bruno, helping him to understand the men from his training exercise may be involved. Mike arms himself and starts running for it. Security agents later come across the scene to find every one of the dead men. In the meantime, it is shown that Jennings is the mastermind behind the attacks, and he purposely set it up for Mike to take the fall by placing his DNA in the van. Mike calls Lee from a payphone to tell her he is okay. However, the call is being tracked by Thompson. Lee lets him know that they have been getting death threats. Mike had to end the call when two men who realize he is wanted held him at gunpoint and attempt to apprehend him. Yet Mike incapacitates them and escapes by hijacking another shooter's truck. He is spotted by agents and is pursued down the road. Mike crashes the truck into the forest and needs to run once more. Kirby converses with other White House officials about the possibilities of the Russian government's involvement in the assassination attempt on the president and the steps they can take to resolve the matter. He later reports through a live press conference that Mike was absolutely involved in the assassination attempt, and that he was working with Russia. Kirby also adds that he is employing a private contractor to support a retaliatory attack against Russia. Mike gets a van and drives to track down his estranged father Clay, Nick Nolte, a former decorated officer who left Mike when he was a little boy and has been supposedly off the grid ever since. Mike had figured out how to find him and had known where he's been hiding for a while. Clay has been living alone in a cabin while getting ready for any unwanted intruder. Mike explains his situation to his dad. However, though he is still pained about Clay abandoning him and his mother, Jennings tracks Mike to Clay's area and sends his men after them. The Bannings spot the men on Clay's surveillance cameras, and they head out to retaliate. Clay hesitantly helps Mike and sets off explosives around the perimeter, exploding the bad guys. Mike takes on a couple of them all alone before they are all dead. In the first part of the day, Clay shows Mike a radio playing Kirby's announcement as the acting president. Mike contacts Jennings after finding out Kirby is the villain. The arrangement from the beginning was to start a war, so Salient Global would rack up contracts and clients. Mike and Clay then drive away from the cabin. While stopping for gas, Mike hears on the radio that Trumbull is responding to treatment. However, he realizes that Jennings won't give up until Trumbull is dead. Mike also brings up Lee and Lynn to Clay, stressing what he stands to lose. A short time later, Thompson and her fellow agents come across the dead Salient agents, and as she understands what striking has been liable for in Iraq, she begins to think that Mike truly is innocent. As Jennings gets information that Trumbull is awakening, he gets a call from his boss Kirby. He arranges for Jennings to send his men to the hospital to get the job done. Jennings sends his men to the Banning house to get Lee and Lynn. Just as they are being taken outside, Clay makes an appearance to kill the two men. He explains to Lee who he is, and he expresses regret for leaving Mike and his mom. He says he will protect Lee and Lynn. Thompson and her partner fly into the Salient base to question Jennings. When he understands that they know the truth, Jennings kills both of them. Mike advances toward the hospital where Trumbull is admitted, soon after he has awakened. He makes it upstairs but is apprehended. Trumbull arranges that Mike be brought to him. Mike declares that he is being framed and Trumbull believes him, as he realizes that he wouldn't be alive had it not been for Mike. Before long, Mike understands that Salient is hacking into the hospital's computer system, releasing gas into the rooms. He realizes that they are planning to explode the hospital with the president in it. The whole structure is emptied, which Salient tech agents learn about. Jennings realizes Mike arrived before they did. When Jennings and his hooligans show up, a shootout occurs between Secret Service and Salient agents. Mike runs with Trumbull to get him somewhere safe, while Jennings attempts to kill the two of them. The hospital's ICU then exploded in a blast. Mike leaves Trumbull with Gentry as he takes off to kill the Salient agents. He shoots, cuts, and explodes practically each and every man before a tactical team takes out the rest of them. Jennings tries to get away in a chopper. However, Mike obliterates it. The two men then go head-to-head one-on-one, which ended with Mike stabbing Jennings, leaving him to drain out and bite the dust. In the aftermath, Mike is vindicated, while Trumbull and Gentry find out about Kirby's involvement with Salient, and he is arrested. Clay is then permitted to live with Mike and his family. To make up for lost time, Mike goes to meet with Trumbull to let him know that he believes he should leave since he chose not to inform him concerning his recent medical issues, and that he doesn't deem himself fit to protect him. Trumbull forgives Mike and says that the Secret Service director position is still his if he wants it. Mike acknowledges. During the credits, Mike and Clay choose to get to know each other by going to a spa. Clay doesn't seem to enjoy it. Now I am going to give you the history behind this movie, Angel Has Fallen. Angel Has Fallen is a 2019 American action thriller film directed by Rick Romanois. It is the third portion in the Has Fallen film series, following Olympus Has Fallen, 2013, and London Has Fallen, 2016. The film stars Gerard Butler, Morgan Freeman, Jada Pinkett Smith, Lance Reddick, Tim Blake Nelson, Piper Perabo, Nick Nolte, and Danny Huston. The plot again follows U.S. Secret Service agent Mike Banning as he attempts to beat the clock to demonstrate his innocence subsequent to being outlined for a drone assault on the President of the United States, Alan Trumbull. The film was officially declared in October 2016, and Romanois was employed in July 2017. New individuals from the cast were added in mid-2018, and shooting started in February of that year around Bulgaria and the United Kingdom. The film was delivered in the US on August 23, 2019, by Lionsgate. It got mixed reviews from pundits and earned $146 million around the world. Plans for future continuations and television side projects are being developed. Thanks for watching. Kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel for more content like this.